Hey, memers and streamers. This video is about one thing: eating crayons and punching things. A lot. Most of my content is geared towards growing your overall competitive game skills, technical information, and fundamentals that work everywhere for every game. But this video is different. This video is Destiny 2 specific, and it's Titan specific. So, let's start up Destiny, eat our crayons, put on our punching mitts, and go Mike Tyson on everyone's ass. So, this crabby old bugger was originally going to make this video an AIM video. Unfortunately, I hurt my arm being an idiot over Christmas, and I decided that since the new AIM video script had fallen apart for the 5th time in a month, I'd make a video specifically for one of my new subscribers. We did a couple of practice matches a few days ago, and we talked a bit how I approach melee, so I figured I'd do a video about it. Stick around to the end, and I'll tell you the story of how the Crucible game in this video wrecked my arm. The build that I use if I'm wanting to lay a beat down is pretty much always the same. Bottom tree striker with Synthos. There's two things about bottom tree that specifically help if you really like getting into the thick of things. First, once you've hit something and you've either critically wounded or killed it, you've proc knockout. Knockout is a serious buff to your melee damage, and if you aren't using Synthos, it gives you the same range while you're procced. Second, you'll trigger reversal. Reversal immediately starts the health regeneration cycle. Since your initial melee range is only about 5 meters or so, putting on your punching mitts, aka your Synthos, cranks that up to the same as having knockout procced, which is roughly 7.5 meters. There's other helpful things that can proc too, like surrounded and biotic enhancements. When you get everything possible procced and you learn to play in the blur, you are an unstoppable, rampaging, murder machine. The real trick to this build, though, is in the key bindings. There's two main things here as well, and they're combined: jump and melee. Both are bound to a single place for a single finger, the scroll wheel. The jump's second bind option is set to the back scroll, and the melee's second bind option is set to the scroll click. So, you can rapidly fire off a half a dozen jump inputs and a melee input without even taking your finger off the scroll wheel. Scrolling backwards does the jumps, clicking the scroll wheel does the punches. Scroll click, scroll click. If you've ever wondered why Titans often appear to bounce, it's because we're probably still doing the half-ass scroll skating thing or the jump and the boost thing. Bungie has seriously slowed this up though, so you won't be beating sparrow buggies like the good old days. I'm not using the same jump as true Titan skating used to use, but it's still an advanced movement technique. Here's an example. All I'm doing is using the scroll wheel and scrolling at the right pace the second that my feet hit the ground. This scrolling thing works in all directions. You can use it to lunge in and punch, then immediately scroll out of somebody's return melee range, and then hit melee again and pull in like you're on the end of a bungee cord. You can scroll to the left or the right to rapidly dodge as well, and if it's done right, you can often do the punch, sidestep thing faster than PvE characters can even turn to face you. I'll often beat gold bar baddies to death and not take a single hit in return. The scroll wheel is much like a Titan menstrual cycle. It's a good way to get around town is what it is. The Synthos are the exotic to help you kick off this party. Your base lunge range is about 5 meters. These kick that up to 7.5. Now this might not sound like much, but once you're used to it, believe me, you'll miss the difference. The extra benefits of improved damage don't hurt either. Using Synthos and Bottom Tree Striker, fully procced, I'll often hit for the kind of damage that a fully charged Hawkmoon exotic hand cannon does with a critical shot. Just without having to shoot a whole clip of critical hits without missing a single shot, without aiming, and every single punch while procced. Another secret to this build is to learn to combine the movement keys with the scroll and the click. You can lunge forward a considerable distance by first hitting your forward button for a fraction of a second, getting a small amount of forward momentum going, and then scrolling. Do this towards the enemy you want to hit, and then immediately at the end of the scroll, once you're in range, click the wheel. The actual melee will pull you the rest of the way, up to 7.5 meters. Practice a bit to get the timing down and find your maximum initial hit range using this. Pro tip: your range with Synthos on is far enough away that Crucible players will sometimes even consider you to be outside of shotgun range. They are wrong. After hitting something, if you need to get the hell out of dodge, you can simply start moving backward and then scroll. Now it'll probably startle you how far you move the first few times you get the timing right. This used to be one of my favorite maneuvers in Crucible, where I would lunge in, melee somebody, bounce out like I bounced off them to a distance just outside their melee range, and then lunge back in again with the melee and finish them off. I've seen it from other players' viewpoints and recorded gameplay from friends. It legit scared the shit out of me the first time I seen just how fast a Titan can move. Sometimes, just straight in and out isn't enough. Sometimes you need to beat the hell out of somebody and then vanish so that they can't hit you back. This is what the left and the right lunges are for. Same deal as the others, hold the left or the right key down and scroll. The timing for this one is such that once you get it down, you can dance around big guys while punching them, and they simply cannot turn fast enough to hit you back, especially if you're stunning them each time. By the time they turn to you, you're already gone. Even if it takes a while, you can just punch, laugh while you vanish from their prior position, and then punch them in the ear from the side. And of course, once they go to punch you in return, you're already behind them or beside them to give them another one. This left-right thing isn't just a PvE thing, though. This is the secret to how Titans in Crucible matches can appear to melee you and then just vanish. It's not cheating, it's just a Titan who's eaten his crayons today. One last word on using the jump in your movement. When you really get used to the flow of fast-paced Titan movement, you may find yourself using more than one control for the exact same thing. This is the case for me too. I have the jump bound to the keyboard and the scroll key. While I certainly use the scroll melee thing a lot, I'll also find myself using the keyboard to throw in a double and triple jump here and there. Over time, you'll get used to which approaches get you somewhere the fastest, and your brain will just make it happen. Just remember to play around with all the tools available to you and see how they interact. Okay, so we have all the pieces now. We've got our Titan with bottom tree striker. He's got his punching mitts on. He's using the middle jump. We've got back scroll bound to the jump. We've got melee bound to the scroll click. We've learned how to get around town on our menstrual cycle. This is what we play for. Time to get serious. There's a reason the term proc my fist has become a bit of an inside joke among my clan. It's because I find a spawn group, smash the first little guy I see, and then proceed to beat the hell out of everything in sight. Small guy, big guy, really big guy, it doesn't matter. So long as there's a steady stream of smaller guys to keep procking, you can keep hulking. When I go into a group, I'm thinking of one thing: the order that I need to knock them down in order to maximize my effectiveness. Let's look at an example. In this image, let's pretend that we're above the battlefield and we're looking down. You're the red dot. The green dots are smaller bad guys, the yellow dot is a really big bad guy. The single most important thing here is the order that we take them in. And while there's not really any right or wrong way, it does help to plan. So, looking at this group, consider the following things. If the big guy hits you with a few swipes, you'll be dead. If you stand still for a few seconds, projectile fire from the smaller guys will converge on you, and you'll also be dead. If you kill something, you'll proc reversal, and your health will immediately start going up. Taking a single hit while your health is going up, though, will stop the reversal proc and the health regeneration cycle. So, the typical plan is to use the small guys to get an initial damage proc, wail on the big guy for a few seconds while you're procced or until you're hurt, and then wail on another small guy or two, and then back at it. When you're pushing the envelope in some game modes, you may kill 100 bad guys in a row without a single pause in between. I refer to this as working the blur. When I'm doing this, I'm thinking of the flow and where I need to be next, not where I am. The melee animation requires no input from you at all. Once it locks on, after you've hit the button, you're just along for the ride. So use that time to decide beforehand where your next target is. if you're pushing hard enough, after a few dozen kills, you probably won't even know what direction you're facing. That's not a big deal. It's only a fraction of a second to look around at a landmark and reorient yourself, so pay attention to the most important thing at the time, the order that you plan on engaging in. The only thing that should matter is knowing your next target before you strike the one that you're hitting now. The one exception to this is when you need to break the loop if you take unexpected damage. If you need to steal a few souls to heal, just kill a few little guys. When I'm using this approach against larger enemies, I'll usually whittle the small guys down just enough that I know they're not going to kill me in a hail of bullets if I stop for a second, and then I get at it. Proc my fist on a small guy, whack the big guy. Scroll left or right out of the big guy's vision, whack him again. Scroll to the side, whack him again. Over and over again, at least until I'm close to losing my proc. Then, during the last few hits, I'm scanning for a new small guy to proc on who's going to get it the instant I'm done hitting his big friend. Over and over, using the little guys as a resource for health and damage proc, and using it to kill their big friends. And that's it. That's how you beat the hell out of everything in sight. It takes a bit of practice to get the timing right, but once you do, you can start practicing this on weaker enemies in places like the EDZ or Tangled Shore. Tangled Shore especially has some really good areas, since bad guys just spawn over and over. So, at the start of this video, I promised to talk about how I wrecked my arm. So if you made it this far and you want to hear the story of how Christmas, an 8-year-old, and the comp playlist broke my arm, here's the story. I decided to record this part of the video as a sort of warning for people with a similar kind of obsessive personality. It's easy to let your strengths end up being your weaknesses. So, here's the deal. On Christmas Eve, due to the whole COVID thing, everybody was stuck at home, including me. So, being all bummed out, I decided to play some Crucible to cheer myself up, and a new friend of mine asked if I could help him win 6 games in a row in the competitive playlist. This friend also just happens to be 8 years old. So, this old fella got to carry an 8-year-old and 6 randoms through 6 games in the competitive playlist and try to make sure that we won every single game 6 games in a row. Well, we did. I got her done, but it cost me. People will tell you that practicing microflicks will hurt your arm. Well, newsflash. I practice microflicks every single day, including a handful of 6-hour-long sessions where I did hundreds of rounds of insane aim practice while talking with a friend on Discord. Not once did this kind of thing ever cause an issue. Now remember, I'm nearly 50 years old with a serious autoimmune disease that has ravaged my body to the point that my BMI has dropped as low as 14.1 in the last few years. I'm not doing well physically to say the least, but at no time did my shooting style ever hurt my arm. But here's what did. Upping my playtime in strenuous games from a few games a week to dozens in a single night, and then a whole pile more private matches on New Year's Eve, and pushing hard with lots of muscle tension. So, learn from my dumb mistake. The thing that prevented my injury to this point was using the music practice approach. Working up to things slowly, without sudden giant spikes in playtime, and making sure to never play with tension in my muscles. Especially this last part. If I can practice in an aim trainer for 6 hours solid without any issues at all using this approach and do so repeatedly, even with my health issues and vastly reduced physical recovery, the advice is sound. On the other hand, I broke both of these rules for 2 nights, only a few days apart, and I'm paying the price. If you're using an aim trainer and you feel the burn, so to speak, you're doing something wrong and you're liable to end up like I am now, so be forewarned. If you haven't done serious musical training before, talk to a serious music teacher about how it's done. Start slow and perfect, build speed from there, and never play tense. Gamers are still feeling things out in this topic to see what works, but we don't really need to. Musicians have been doing this literally for hundreds of years. They already know what works. So, the too long didn't read version would be something like, carried 8-year-old friend and 6 randoms through 6 competitive games, won them all, and now my arm fell off. Anywho, that's it guys. I hope you liked this video, and we'll catch you next time. As always, GG's and good luck.